3 Stuart steam plants, piping and testing, part 29. Piping and testing the steam plants on the plywood templates before mounting them directly to the oak plinths. This is a Stuart 10H steam plant, H standing for horizontal, and it has a boiler feed water pump, so it needs piping to a special arrangement to allow a water bypass back to the tank. Also, the exhaust pipe needs piping to the condenser, and the condenser needs piping to the chimney, not forgetting the steam inlet pipe from the boiler. The water bypass system just uses a T-piece, and with the water bypass valve closed back to the tank, the water goes into the boiler. If you open the bypass valve, it goes back to the tank. You know when the pump is working because the engine note actually changes. With the bypass valve open, there is no pressure whatsoever, but with the bypass valve closed, the water is being pumped against boiler pressure. Not in this case though, because it is not in steam and the boiler is not pressurised. The engine runs very well and the water is being circulated from the tank through the pump and back to the tank. When I close the bypass valve, the water level in the tank drops because the water is being pumped into the boiler. It's a very simple arrangement, but it works, providing that the union nuts are tight on the T-piece. In this clip, I'm filling the water tank right to the top, almost to overflowing, and with the video running at a high speed, you can see the water level physically dropping in the tank. That is, provided that I close the water bypass valve. Nothing happens to the water level in the tank if the valve is left open. The pressure is on with this job. There is one full day and a morning left to complete everything on these plants, and they're not even screwed to the main baseboards yet. Time to move on to the Stuart Score steam plant. This is a twin-cylinder horizontal engine. It doesn't have a water pump, instead it has a manual hand pump, and this one is a genuine Stuart hand pump. Quite big and bulky, but with a small ram. I've never really figured that out. The ram could have been bigger. But anyway, that's the way it's always been. This is a shot of the condenser end. I'm just about to mark out the hole positions on the board using a felt tip pen, and here they are. There are 2 pieces of pipe here. One goes up the chimney from the condenser's exhaust, and the other pipe feeds the exhaust from the engine to the condenser. All these pieces of pipe that you see were cleaned up, silver soldered, and then cleaned up again in the main workshop. It really was a race against time, and in this case it wasn't really my fault, it's circumstantial. I'm going into hospital next Tuesday for some surgery. I'm having a cancerous kidney removed, the right one to be exact. I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but that's the way it is. The videos will be down for a few days, maybe a little bit longer. It depends how quickly I recover. The reason for the rush is that the owner of these engines can only pick them up on one specific day, after which he goes on holiday, and then I go into hospital, so I need them to be done, finished and removed from my premises. I really don't like rushing, but this is what I would term a rush job. Although none of it is being bodged. I will only do jobs like this if I can do them properly. Rather than fill the boiler using the hand pump, which is quite a laborious method, I thought it was a much better idea to remove the safety valve, fit the funnel and fill the boiler using a bottle of water like this. I put about half a litre into the boiler. That is sufficient to test it. Some of the testing I was unable to video just from a speed point of view, because when I video these operations it takes a lot longer. But I got most of the piping and testing process. Here's the boiler 3/4 full of water, after which I replace the safety valve, which is very easy as it sits on a silicone O-ring. 2 down and 1 to go. The final plant to pipe is the Stuart Victoria steam plant. Here it is, with its really nice water tank. I rebent the original copper pipe that goes from the pump's outlet to the check valve. And here I'm removing the check valve's union nut and cone, as well as disconnecting the pipe from the engine so I can take it up into the main workshop to silver solder the union cone in place. The piping underneath the water tank was quite difficult to do. It took a couple of attempts to actually get the bends right, but in the end I got there. Once the union cones are silver soldered onto this piece of pipe and it's cleaned up, it will fit to the double union and then up to the tank. This is the inlet pipe to the water pump. I didn't like the inlet arrangement to the tap, so I thought I would modify this. I drilled it out and rethreaded it 1/4 by 40 threads per inch. And then I got really lucky. The exhaust pipe flange thankfully was threaded, so I could take the piece of 1/4 inch pipe out, clean it up and silver solder a piece of 3/16 of an inch pipe from the exhaust outlet to the condenser. This was a very long day and I was really glad when it was over. I got there in the end, as you will see in the next episode. That's it for this one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.